So, good morning friends. Actually, today we are going to discuss about some functions of price mechanism. Actually, this is a unit 1 topic. For revisioning, I am just revising what are the basic functions of price mechanism. So, good morning friends. So, we are coming back to the price mechanism. First, we have to be defined what do you mean by price mechanism. The price mechanism in a market economy allocates the resources between the conflicting users. We already know that our economy's central problem is scarcity, isn't it? So resources will have an alternative uses. So in a price mechanism, what we are doing is that we have to be allocate resources in this conflicting users. Okay, the interactions of demand and supply fixes the price. That is called what the price mechanism. Market forces will determine the price of the product. So the interactions of demand and supply fixes the price at which the exchanges take place. The forces of demand and supply is also determine how much is brought and sold by whom. So that is called a price mechanism. That is the definition of price mechanism. And price has a three important functions in allocating resources in a market: a rationing function and a signaling function and incentive functions. These are the three important functions of price mechanism. Okay, so we will continue to the next one. So here in signaling function, what we are going to discuss is that the price of a good is a key piece of information to both buyers and sellers in the market. The price occurs because of the transactions of buyers and sellers. They reflect the market conditions and therefore act as a signal to those in the market. So you can able to see that what an equilibrium price shows. You already knows that what an equilibrium shows. It is a point at which the demand and supply are equal. That will fix the prices, isn't it? So here it will give a signal to the both consumers and producers. For example, see in the figure 1, you can able to see that in the figure 1 and 2, you can see those things, signaling things. In the figure 1, what happened? Supply curve shifted left. That gives a signal to the producer and consumers. What the signal they given to the consumer, you can see price increases, it is a signal to the consumer to consume less. When price increases, it gives a signal to the producers to expand the production. You can able to see that here supply is extended, isn't it? Here supply is extended. At the same time, when the price increases, what happened? Here demand curve is contracted. Clear? We are going to discussing about the rationing function. We can able to see that the consumer wants are infinite, but we live in a world of scarce resources. We know that is a basic economic problem. Somehow these scarce resources need to be allocated between the competing users. One function of a price in a market is to allocate and ration those resources. If any consumer demand a good but its supply is relatively scarce, then price will be high. So for example, we know that that particular good supply is relatively scarce or supply is relatively less. That time what will happen is that many consumers are demanded a good, many consumers are demanding, but supply is relatively scarce. What will happen? The price will be high. That means that limited supply will be rationed to those buyers are prepared to pay a high enough price. Okay, if the demand is relatively low but supply is relatively high, then the price will be low. The low price ensures that the high number of goods will be brought, reflecting the lack of scarcity of the good. If there is a scarcity of the good, what will happen? Price will increase. When price will increase, you have to read this particular point. When the price will increase, the limited supply will be rationed those buyers, those who are prepared to pay a high price for the product. For those people only they can able to get that particular product. Those who are ready to pay high price for that particular product, those people only can able to get that particular product. That's what they mentioned. Then the low price ensure that the high number of goods will be brought, so reflecting that lack of scarcity in the good. If there is no scarcity, the price will be very low. So you can able to say that rationing function only I am continuing here. Here, this can be shown in the diagram. In the figure 1, there is a fall in the supply of a good from S1 to S2. You can see that supply of a good is reduced from S1 to S2. Supply shifted left. As a result, the quantity demanded falls from OB to OA. You know, so previously we are demanding OB, and now the quantity demand is reduced from OA. We are moving from OB to OA. The quantity demand is curve is contracted. Okay, then the movement up the demand curve shows that the effect of rationing function. Higher prices leads to rationing of the goods to the buyers. So higher prices are rationing goods. We are not giving to everyone. Those who are ready to prepare to pay high price, only for them only we are rationing it. So that is called a rationing function. I hope it is clear. Then next function is incentive function. Price act as an incentive for buyers and sellers. The low prices encourage the buyers to produce more goods. For customers, this is because the amount of satisfaction or the utility gained per dollar spent increases related to the other goods. Higher prices discourage the buying because the consumer get a fewer goods per dollar spent. On the supply side, higher prices encourage suppliers to sell more to the market. Actually, incentive function, we are saying that when a consumer is incentivized to buy more, when a consumer will demand more, when the price of the product is really low, means what will happen? It is an incentive for the consumer to demand more. That's what they are saying, that for consumer, this is because the amount of satisfaction or utility gained per dollar spent will increases relative to the other goods. When the price falls, automatically our satisfaction level will increase, isn't it? So higher prices discourage the buying. Why higher prices discourage the buying? Because the utility we are receiving per dollar is reducing. When the price falls, the utility we are receiving per dollar is increasing. Clear? So that is called incentive function. That increasing the utility is an incentive, and reducing the utility is a disincentive. On the supply side, opposite. When the producer will get a more profit, when the price of the product is very high, what will happen? A higher prices encourage the suppliers to sell more to the market. Okay, next paragraph. A prolonged fall in the prices may drive some of the firms out of the market. We know that continuously, if the price of the product is falling, what will happen? The producer will go out of the market, isn't it? They are not interested to produce because it is no longer profitable for them to supply. This can be shown on a diagram. In figure 2, there is a rise in the demand for a good from D1 to D2. As a result, the quantity supplied is rises from OA to OB. The movement upward up the supply curve shows that the effect of incentive function. Higher prices are incentive for the firms to increase the supply. Okay, I will explain that one in the next slide. So you can see here the same thing. In figure 2, there is a rise in the demand for the good from D1 to D2. You can see that demand for good is rising from D1 to D2. That may lead to increase in the price from OF to OE. That, okay, what will happen? The quantity supplied rises from OA to OB. You can able to see that quantity supply is extended. Quantity supply is extended. The movement up the supply curve shows the effect of incentive function. Why? Because that is more profitable. Higher prices are incentive for the firms to increase the supply. Is it clear? But a higher prices is a disincentive for the consumers to consume more. When the higher prices, what will happen? Consumer will be get a less utility per dollar. So that's why he or she may reduce the consumption, because that is a disincentive. If price falls, means that is an incentive for them. Clear? But increasing the price is a disincentive for the consumer, but increasing the price is an incentive for the producer. Clear? When it comes here as an example, assume that the demand for fur clothes, we know that coats, those who are made with the skin of animals, so that fur cloth, we can able to say demand for fur coats fall because of lobbying from animal welfare group. There are so many protests against these kind of coats by the animal welfare groups. So what will happen? Demand curve for the fur coats therefore shift left because of their boycott and their awareness and all those. People are now not ready to buy for that particular product. So that what happened? The demand for that particular product is reduced. At the old price, more is supplied than now demanded. Actually, now we can say demand is low. So what will happen? It may leads to an excess supply. more people are not buying, so it may be leads to an excess supply. The equilibrium price will be then fall. The lower the price is a signal to the manufacturers of fur coats that market conditions have changed for the worse. So lower price reduces the incentive for the fur coats manufacturers. Lower price indicates that their profit will be fall, isn't it? Whenever the price falls means their profit is fall. So hence they will be making fewer fur coats. So shown by the movement down the supply curve, we already knows that. So whenever the price falls, what will happen? The producer will produce less because it is less profitable. Okay. When we will check then another example in order to understand the incentive. Here is an example too. Assume that the supply of oil falls. The supply of oil curve of the oil therefore shift the left. Supply of oil reduces means what will happen? Supply curve will shift to left. At the old equilibrium price, there is an excess demand. Okay. The equilibrium price then will rise. Why? Because supply is shifted left now. So automatically what will happen to the price? Price will shift up. So this less oil being supplied and demanded. Okay. The higher price is a signal to the buyers and sellers that that market conditions have changed. The new higher price is also rations oil among the buyers. That means that those who are able to pay high price only can able to buy now, isn't it? So shown by the movement up, the demand curve will be contracted. Okay, demand curve moved up. So demand curve for the oil. Some consumers of the oil will be priced out of the market altogether. Okay, someone cannot be able to buy that one. Others will respond by purchasing less oil. Some will not be buy oil and others will be buying less oil. So this is the incentive function for the consumers they are explaining in this example. Previous example they are explaining about the incentive functions of the producer. So these are the functions of price mechanism. Okay, I hope you guys will understand. Thank you.